Warning, this video contains flashing images. My mum made my brother promise not to tell me what he saw. I've never really been someone who believes in ghosts, or anything like that. But this is one experience I've never been able to explain. When I was around 8 years old, my mum, a single parent at the time, moved me and my brother into a small apartment in a pretty rough area. It was a low-income housing, a lot of crime, and there was even a police office inside the complex. A watered-down version of the projects for the state I lived in. I have had a lot of weird stories from living there, but this is one that stuck with me. One night everything was completely normal. I went to bed like usual. My bed faced directly towards my bedroom door, and I always slept curled up on my side because I was scared of everything as a kid. Sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up. I was on my back, which again I never do. That's when I looked at my door. It was wide open. I never slept with it open because I was terrified of the dark. Standing in the hall outside my door was a woman. I know how cliche this sounds, but she was wearing a white dress with a small veil pinned into her hair. The part that didn't feel normal was her skin. It looked blue and almost like it was rotting. She didn't move or speak. She just stood there staring directly at me. What's weird is I wasn't scared. It felt like I couldn't move, but my body wasn't fighting it. I knew I wasn't sleeping. I was a very anxious kid. I hated sleeping alone, and I scared easily. But in that moment, I didn't feel panic. I just stared back at her. I could even see her chest rising and falling like she was breathing. After a while, I just closed my eyes and went back to sleep. The next morning, my door was closed. I told my mom what I saw. She gave me a weird look, then changed the subject. My brother didn't say anything. Years later, when I was around 14 or 15 years old, we were talking about the apartment at dinner. I brought the story up again, just casually. Everything went quiet. My brother looked at my mom and said, "I think she's old enough to know." Back then, his room was down the same hallway as mine. One night he woke up Thursday and went to get water from the kitchen. When he stepped into the hallway, he saw a woman standing there. He described her exactly the same way I did. She didn't acknowledge him. She was just staring into my room. He got freaked out and went back to bed. The next morning he told my mom. My mom panicked and told him he could never tell me because she didn't want me to be too scared to sleep alone. The same morning I came into the kitchen and told them what I seen. I hadn't thought about it much after that, but recently my sister told a story about how a few years prior I was talking in my sleep about a woman outside my swing set, dressed in white. She was laughing, telling the story. All I could picture was the same woman. Nothing like this has ever happened to me again, and we moved out that apartment long after. I still don't know what to make of it. I can still see her clearly, even now. TLDR. As a kid, I saw a woman in white standing in my doorway. Years later, my brother told me he saw her too, standing in the hallway, staring into my room, and my mom told him never to tell me. Hey everyone, if you like what I'm doing, why not subscribe to my channel? It costs nothing and it would help me out a great deal. Like, comment and subscribe, my friends. Like, comment and subscribe. Let's continue with the rest of the video. We were freaking out. These things are true and happened back in 1992 when my then girlfriend and I were dating. It's a Friday night and we are in a jam-packed movie theatre. A couple around our age asked if the two seats next to us were taken. We said they weren't and let them pass us. That Sunday morning we drive to Disneyland. It's about an hour away and we arrive at 10 AM. In the parking lot there are trams that pick you up and drive you to the front entrance. It was packed with people and a man says that there are 2 seats next to him. We walk down the aisle and realise it's the same couple that sat next to us at the movies. We all laughed and wondered what the odds were. On Thursday around noon we decided to hit Zuma Beach. It's a 45-minute drive south of Disneyland. We were there for about 3 hours. In the parking lot we're getting adjusted. I start the car and I'm looking through my tapes for something to listen to. My girlfriend grabs my arm to get my attention and says, "Oh my God." While she's looking at the car that's just pulled in next to us on her side. I look over and it's the same couple staring at us. They look as confused as we do. I quickly pulled out and got the hell out of there. I'm not someone who gets freaked out easily. I was seriously disturbed for a minute. We talked about this all the time. Never figured it out. Never saw them again. Weird. Here's a little word from our sponsors. Psych! I don't have any sponsors, guys and girls. Just want to put a wee break in here. Let's continue with the rest of the video. Weird occurrences keep happening at the house across from mine. So a little backstory. Real quick, on this house, we moved into the neighbourhood in 2019. So we've been here for a few years and I've seen a few things with our neighbour's house. A month after moving in there was a bunch of cop cars in the front of the house and a forensic team. They were there for hours, not sure how long because I ended up falling asleep. Clearly somebody died, but we never found out how. Whether it was a murder or from old age, we don't know. Never saw anything in the newspaper. Anyway, a few months later a new family moves in. Everything seemed normal until it wasn't. At one point I remember looking out the window and I saw a man put a woman wrapped in sheets in the back of his car. Then he left. I remember asking my husband, should I call the cops? And he had said no. Maybe they were going to the hospital. The next day cops showed up at the house and they brought the man out. It looked like they were questioning him. And then they left. I will say that we never seen that woman before and haven't seen her since. It was very weird. So after that, things kind of calmed down. And then my husband texted me that the cops are about to show up at the house in front of ours. He was working at the police department at the time and saw the police dispatch. Apparently the man in the house was getting a divorce from his wife. Now his wife was seen multiple times, not the other lady. Anyway, there was a restraining order set in place and he has shown up at the house. It seemed very messy divorce. We will witness the cops showing up a few more times until they moved out and the house goes up for sale. The house ended up sitting vacant for over a year. There'll be some contractor come by and do some things to the house, fix the roof and the siding, put in new windows, etc. The previous neighbours had been renters, so I guess there was some damage done. Then one day the for sale sign goes down. The house is still sitting vacant at this point, but a white unmarked van would come by and then leave. It's extremely loud, so we know when it shows up and leaves. It was like that for weeks. They would come by for 30 minutes to an hour and then leave. Here recently the van has been staying there parked overnight. I've seen someone come out of the van multiple times and go into the house, sometimes with a bag of fast food or just a white shopping bag. While all of this sounds normal, and maybe I've got a new neighbour, the thing is that we've never seen a moving van or anybody moving furniture in. The house still looks vacant. The windows still have the new installation stickers on them, so something extremely weird is going on with that house. I've joked with my husband that it must be some sort of meth lab. and I hope it doesn't catch fire or explode. But now I'm thinking, what if it's something more sinister? What if the house has bad energy all around and attracts suspicious people? I don't know, man. The van is only there at night. I've never seen it during the day. I try not to spy on the neighbour and mind my own business. I can't help but notice the sketchy behaviour. Anyway, I stay on my side of the sidewalk. I don't go anywhere near that house. It gives me the creeps. Hope everyone enjoyed these stories. Remember, they're meant to be true. It's up to you if you believe them or not. Anyway, here are some other videos that might interest you. Until next time, I shall scare you later.